Hi, Green Panda here, and guess what? Can you notice something different? Something not the same? Yep, that's right. I changed my hair. I finally gave myself a hairstyle. It was about time. I created some new emotes, although to be fair, from what I've seen on the internet, YouTubers don't even need them. I mean, come on, I've seen lots of people with videos on using 2 images, especially Hero here, he only uses 2 animated pictures of girls on laptops. So either way, does it really matter? I'm rambling. Anyway, so I realised, you guys, you have no idea who I am. Like, I've been on YouTube for a while, but I haven't been serious with uploads, and every video I make I always go, oh, you know me, I would do this, but you don't know me, so let's fix that. So here we go. I'm a Virgo, and I'm fascinated by astrology and Greek mythology. I even took ancient history in school because that shit is fascinating. I was born in the Year of the Rat, hence why my favourite song is Year of the Rat, Enter the Haggis. It's such a good freaking song. And speaking of years and animals, it is currently 2022, so this year is the tiger. Around. Okay, my username. Well, the reason why I chose panda is because I love pandas and I have tons of teddy bears and a huge one that I sleep with. I relate to pandas and some headcanon pandas to be asexual because they just couldn't be arsed. Green is the name I use as it's my last name. I don't really like the colour green because it's not a creative colour. My favourite colour is actually pink or purple. Both is good. Okay, my username's I was originally called DJAgree12 on YouTube, but I deleted that account because I was making AMVs. Short for anime music videos. I took clips from Elfin Lied and I made an edited video on Windows Movie Maker. I also made slideshows, but the person I was following, called Animeku Noichi, made a Sonic OC speed paint where they were basically recoloring over a Sonic X screenshot. And I fell down the rabbit hole of art, and I'll go into detail about that in another video. I like doing impressions. My favourite is Mickey Mouse, the Looney Tunes voice.
Tell the devil that's all, folks.
Wait, that doesn't sound like Looney Tunes. What does that sound like? Oh yeah, I know.
Brush up, clean between your teeth.
Batman's voice is my favourite, especially on stream, 'cause I'm Batman! I definitely love doing that, even though I'm not great. I love doing impressions. Not brilliant at them, I know that, so that's the only time you're gonna be hearing them, unless you come to my stream on Twitch. I also speak weeaboo. It was cringe when I was a kid, but now it's making a comeback, so thank you, VTubers, arigato. Am I good at impressions? No, I just like doing them. I can't say it's like a stim, since I am not ADHD or autistic at all. I have not been diagnosed. I'm not claiming I am ADHD or autistic, but at the end of the day there's been lots of signs. I only mention it because I'm basically making a note about it. And yeah, me and my sister are basically trying to figure out how to call the doctors during a pandemic, and so at this end of the time we're pretty much thinking once everything's calmed down and you can freely go to the doctors again, that's when we're going to do it, because we feel like our diagnosis of ADHD or autism is not really a priority. I'm only saying this so I won't ruffle any feathers, and I'm not saying I am just because I do impressions. There is other things that me and my sister have done as well. We're making a note of every single thing that we do that seems to be ADHD or autism or something that is normal, so we're making notes of everything that we're doing. So at least that way when we do go to the doctors and they sit us down and go, why do you think you have this? We don't go blank and think, because TikTok was getting very relatable. So yeah, so we are not, me and my sister, we are definitely not ADHD or autistic, but I am, however, dyslexic. I am struggling to read this script right now, and I think that's probably why I have arguments online. It was never a problem as a kid, but as I've gotten older, people jump to conclusions and think I'm saying one thing when I mean something totally different. Even my sister has to translate for me in real life situations, and it frustrates me to no end. My blood type is 0 positive. And I faint at the sight of blood, and if anyone goes into detail about gore, etc., I will black out. I get really queasy, and it's ironic since I liked Omineko, Higurashi no Koroni, and Elfin Lied. How bizarre. Oh, and before I forget, I am 4'9". I can deny it no longer. I am small, which is ironic as people on Twitter will tell me, a 25-year-old woman, I can't date anyone taller than me, and would accuse my spouse of having a lolicon complex. Neat. I work part-time in retail. I will not disclose where I'm working because it's none of your beeswax, but that job is paying for this hobby. I would love to be a YouTuber, but I have no idea how to do that without getting stressed out and thinking, God, this is so much effort and I am so lazy. I don't want a full-time job. I want to ride into the glen firing arrows into the sunset. I want my freedom. Oh, I'm not Scottish. Don't let my accent fool you. I am a full-on Mackem. Freedom! Do not confuse me with a Geordie or a Chav. I will block you, okay? I hate bees and wasps. If they're outside where they belong, I'm fine with it. If they're in the house, hell no, they chose to come in here, they are trespassing, so whatever happens next is their responsibility, and I have my reasons to be terrified of bees and wasps. I'll probably make a video about that, because you'll probably be thinking, I'm childish for being scared of them, but like, no, because like, if one's in your house, it's fine, because you can deal with it, but if you're asleep at night, you be in your room all day, nothing, but as soon as you are about to fall asleep, okay, that is traumatizing. Alright, so I'm allowed to be upset with bees and wasps, so I don't need to make a video. That's the video. Haha, now you know why I hate bees and wasps. Oh, also, I have a dog called Holly, who is a Brichon Frise. She likes chasing squirrels. Her leg always sticks up when you stroke her, and she's more like a cat than a dog. She has an attitude, and maybe I should make an entire video about my dog. She deserves it. So what the heck are my interests? I heckin' love musicals. The Mad Hatter's Tea Party was on for everyone to watch during COVID in 2020, and it made me cry. The musical has been removed, but the music is online to freely listen to. Mad Hatter's song is the best and my favourite, while the rabbit... Here's my dyslexia starting, sorry guys. My favourite is also the White Rabbit song of I'm Late. It's a song I deeply relate to. I currently watched Six the Musical, and I do want to make a video that goes into detail about the outfits that's used in the main cast of Six the Musical, because, yeah, I have so many ideas. I wonder if I'll even make these videos. Sorry. I'm a casual gamer. I value story and exploration games, and I like to see my character. If there's games in first point of view, I'm not a fan. I like Kingdom Hearts, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Sonic Unleashed and Black Knight, and Tekken Tag Tournament. Ling Xiaoyu is my go-to girl. I'm not really a good player, I'm casual, so I don't invest as much time in video games, because what I do invest my time is art, etc. So games is my escape and stressfully, so if a game is too hard, I give up. But even though I'm really bad at video games, I was almost close to beating Sans on Undertale on PS4. I just couldn't get past the last move, so I gave up. I'm so proud that I even made it that far. I like anime. I will make a video about what I think about anime as a casual fan. Again, I'm just a casual, everything. My only obsession is art, no matter what, but in case I don't make it, Sailor Moon was my introduction to anime. The 90s anime is iconic, and Molly and Nephrite's story made me cry. He could have been such a great ally, but he died, and that sucks. Oh my god. And it's probably why I'm gay, because Lita was my first gay crush, because even though she was tall and strong, she was still feminine and soft, a great cook, and the running gag of, he looks like my ex-boyfriend, and her rose earrings, I just can't. I'm gonna go on a tangent. Also, there was pages on the internet that my sister and I would print that would make breakdown and teach you how to draw the Sailor Moon characters so we could draw them, and that is why my style is reminiscent of Sailor Moon, and I'm not sorry. Elfin Light was also something I watched in primary school. Yeah, and my mum told me off for watching it, but to be fair, I was a child, and Elfin Light was a hardcore 18+. I shouldn't have been watching it, but I really liked it. I watched Naruto only because the guy I had a crush on watched it as well, and I wanted to talk to him about it. But then I ended up getting to Shippuden. I was around the 300-ish episode part where it was a filler, and Naruto had a snake in his stomach. It wasn't a real snake, but wasn't aware, and the girl yelled at him and was telling him to like get out, but she wasn't talking to Naruto, she was talking to the evil parasite snake inside his stomach. Anyway, Crunchyroll on my phone would keep loading, so I had to keep watching the opening over and over and over again and go back another 30 seconds just to rebuff the whole episode, just to watch it. I couldn't even skip any of the openings without the little grey buffering loading times went back to the beginning, and it would just keep loading. It was hell. And I figured I'll just stop here and wait until a couple episodes release, then I'll just binge watch the whole thing. I never did, and now I have no idea where I was in Naruto Shippuden, and the series has ended, we're on to Boruto, and I'm like, I'm so far behind. And the guy I had a crush on didn't even like me back. Actually, no, he didn't. He stopped talking to me on Facebook, so I blocked him because I was pissed. I was like, after all the things we've been through, we watched Naruto together, kinda, and you're not even going to talk to me? Fuck you. So, yeah. Anyway, Kakaguri, Brand New Animal, and Food Wars, and The Assassination Classroom is the recent anime I watched, and I loved all of them. Brand New Animal, and Kakaguri, it has its problems, but I don't care. It's my favorite anime. I watched BL as a kid and referred to myself as a fujoshi because as a kid in the 2000s, I was new to the anime community. I was learning new terms such as otaku, weeaboo, tsundere, etc. I was a complete weeb and I would go, I'm so kawaii, how nano desu, oni-sama. I was 14, so what? We've all had a cringe phase. I was like, what is shonen, seinen, doujinshi, shoujo? Hentai. Yep, I was on DeviantArt looking at Sonic fan art and OCs, recolors, looking at Sonic rants, and someone in the comments section mentioned hentai. I Google it, and I got scarred for life. You guys think you had a bout of the anchor dance? Let me tell you. So yeah, there were men in the community who referred to themselves as lolicon, and I was like, neat. I was a child. Yeah, they spoke about anime waifus, etc. It was my first taste of the anime community, so as someone who's 25, who's been in it since the 2000s to now, we didn't realise I'm kind of desensitized to the whole thing, so because I was kind of like raised in that community where it's like, oh yeah, it's not real. So you have people who's like, fiction equals reality, meanwhile I've been raised on that, so I think, no, fiction does not affect reality unless you make it affect reality. So if you make it a big deal, it will be a big deal. If you just ignore it, it won't be a problem. There is a difference between a cartoon character that's a problem and a real predator online who is a problem. So at this point in time, it's like if you're so focused on a cartoon character, so many real issues get ignored. But it's everyone's opinions. We're all different. As long as we're all in the same wavelength and like, oh yeah, grown-ass adults who's being really creepy, yeah, we'll all agree. That's shit and that should end, okay? Okay, we're all in the same wavelength. Different opinions, who cares? I love Junjo Romantica, still like Seikachi Hetsuko. My last BL was Yuri on Ice, but after that I think I grew out of BL and I don't watch any of that anymore. As I'm now looking at Kakaguri and Little Witch Academia, and I'm still looking for content that's like that, but also, you know, different types of queer content that's, you know, a bit more older. But hey, at least we're finally getting there. If we keep, you know, we might eventually get an adult queer anime. Fingers crossed. Okay, until the next best thing comes out, I'm just going to enjoy what anime is set before me. Good soup. I used to like romance in anime, but now I've noticed I like family. Lots of people are just friends, like Food Wars. That is just such a good anime. If I'm in a fandom, I mostly want to absorb the lore. Any detail about a complex world with theories, analyzing, etc. I love it. FNAF, Kingdom Hearts, Evangelion, Encanto. Anything I can dissect and go into detail about, I freaking love it. Spider-Man is my obsession. I have so many Funkos, it's unreal. I remember the advert for Tobey's Spider-Man, and when I was a kid, I grew up with Blade, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and I mean, that was my Avengers. I sound so old. I love Kingdom Hearts, and when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I love the game. Except I don't like the portrayal of Kairi and Aqua, and some of the story was a bit underdeveloped, but I'm going to blame Disney and Pixar for that by micromanaging the project, so I'll let it go. And that's a pun because the Frozen World in Kingdom Hearts 3 of Let It Go was shit and no one likes it, so yeah. My favourite school subject? English literature. So my first English teacher, Janet, named after Janet from like Rocky Horror, cause nobody likes her, was all about, we're going to read poetry about war. What does it mean, ricocheted off the walls, panda? Ricochet meaning bullets bouncing around in a small space about how dangerous weapons was brought to your home, I think. And in that moment where no one is safe. I don't know, it's boring, it's dry, I freaking hate this. I'm going to feel English. So I moved classes, and here we are. We have a new English teacher called Mr. Yoki Puddin. Kind of like that guy from TikTok, you know, the American versus British schools guy. Legend. So this guy is like, romance, poetry. How did you know that Juliet's cousin, Capult, or whatever his name, like, whatever, could have had a crush on Romeo, which is why I was so obsessed with him. Now you have my attention. I love English lit because you can take a subject and just point out the obvious. So for example, in Romeo and Juliet's balcony scene, you get so much out of it. Juliet's on a height and is as if she's in heaven high above, ascending, while Romeo is in the garden below her. The metaphor being he is a demon, a snake in the Garden of Eden to tempt Juliet. In the movie, Juliet is dressed like an angel as if she's untouchable, a divine being, and Romeo feels as if he's sinning just by being with her, as their love is forbidden. Romeo is dressed as a knight because to Juliet she is like a princess locked away in her tower. She has to look prim, proper and marry who her family approves of and has no freedom. Romeo is the knight in shining armour. You can also see that both Romeo and Juliet is a queer metaphor for two men or two women or anyone else who isn't straight in a queer relationship that is hidden from society as no one is accepting of that relationship. I'll make an analysis video about this and go more into depth and see if it'll stick. I know kids in English lit struggle, and I think if I make videos, it might just make it easier to digest. Who knows? So that's me every time I watch movies. I tend to overanalyze and ruin the movie. My mum gets irritated all the time. I love watching Zizi's World as he goes into depth about horror movies. I can't watch horror as the blood and gore, but he goes into detail. I feel as if I watched the movie, but a censored version of it, and love his in-depth analysis. And then there's Matt Pat. Yes, his theories are insane, but it's just a theory. So, awesome! I love it. Okay, so moving on. My style is all over the place. Okay, I don't have a style. I got bullied in school, it's whatever, but I was a complete punk, as others online will call me, and technically a more accurate portrayal to call me would be a scene kid. I listened to Avril Lavigne, Limp Bizkit, Fall Out Boys, Panic at the Disco, Mindless Self-Indulgence. I wore all black, struck a violent pose, and I'm just a kid and my life is a nightmare. So my style fluctuates to Chloe's outfits in Life is Strange Before the Storm to e-girls on TikTok. I just found a belt with chains, I can't wait to wear it. But even though sometimes I want to wear flannel, etc., which can also coexist with my rage and bisexuality, I sometimes wear soft jumpers with cute slogans on the front like "Creep It Real." I need to reevaluate my wardrobe and change it from summer to winter, because it's freezing and all I've got is vest tops. I'm at war with myself because I like the dark aesthetic, but also I like pink pastels. I also like Melina Martinez's style, where she incorporates a cute Lolita style but talks about adult problems. Some people may be on the fence, but my opinion and how I consume it, even though it's no one's business, is the representation of trauma in childhood making your childhood ruined, and you're so focused as a teenager to being an adult. But when you're finally an adult and you're in a safe space, you feel free to explore comforts and embrace your inner child that was stolen from you when you're an adolescent, even that happened from any circumstances. Mine was because I was bullied and an outcast at school, so I wasn't allowed to be a kid. I had to be quiet and be good and do what the teachers told me to do, and I always felt guilty for my comforts, so I felt like I had to get rid of everything. I had to minimize my room. I had to be an adult who's boring. So now as an adult, I have to see a fuck authority, and teachers are the worst. They don't know anything, and I will always fight them. So my teachers in college, my class started, he had black hair, and at the end of the year he had white. But if they weren't so fucking stupid, it wouldn't have happened. In one line they would say, "You're all 17, you're adults, act like it." But then they will condescend and treat you like a child and act shocked when there's pushback. No, we are not acting childish. Do you come in to your freaking teacher's lounge, and tell your colleague to not talk when you're talking to them? No? Because you wouldn't treat adults like that, Barbara. Anyway, moving on. My drawing styles, whenever I would draw, I would always go to the Anyway, moving on. My drawing styles. So whenever I draw, I always go to the standard 3/4 face, and it's my go-to. I kind of hate side profiles, and I have no idea how to draw them, so I've never drawn them. I'm 25 years old, I still haven't drawn a side profile. Okay, so my art influences has to be Sailor Moon, Revolutionary Girl Utena, and maybe Blue Exorcist, and Inuyasha. Oh, I mentioned I was bi. Okay, I'm asexual first. I never wanted kids, or wanted to get married, or having a boyfriend. Meh. I found out when I was in college, when I was like 17-ish maybe, and a post went around going, "If you're asexual, you're straight," etc. And all the girls in my secondary were fucking scum. So it took me a pretty long time when I went to college to find my people who were just as weird as me, to help me figure out that I like girls and boys. Both are cute. And that post on asexuality on Tumblr was very asphobic and was kind of putting asexuals in a box. And it's like, here, guess what? You can have crushes on people. You just don't want to be with people. There's a huge difference, like asexuality is kind of fluid. And my favorite color is pink, hence why I have pink hair, and most of my art on Instagram is pink. I feel as if I need to divide my art pages from digital to traditional, because my digital art seems to be okay sometimes, and my traditional art is also a bit blur, and I feel like people have no idea which I'm from, so I should probably keep both separate and make 2 different accounts, just to put them both in separate areas, and yeah, just to help me Instagram grow. My art style. I recently started traditional art in 2018, and now I have tons of sketchbooks filled. I'm faster drawn on paper than I am on the computer. I'm so slow. Hence why it takes so long for videos to come out. I was on stream and wanted to do a mermaid, back in 2021, I ended up finishing an illustration straight away, and I had to scramble to draw more traditional art just to keep people entertained, because I was like, I've been streaming for like 12 minutes and I've already done something. I'm like, I need to draw something else. Okay, I love watercolor. It was finicky at first, but I got the hang of it. And now I know how to control it. I do not like acrylic paint. It's not my cup of tea. And I can't seem to figure it out, so I'm not going to waste my time buying and wasting paint that I know I won't use. I probably won't ever use oil paints or anything like that, but that's because if you use oil, you need to use a large, well-ventilated room so you don't breathe in the fumes. And my room is the size of Harry Potter's closet. Markers. I like markers, but I get irritated when the markers bleed through the page. I need to use my markers more before they dry out. I bought Copic, and yeah, I think Copic markers, especially sketch Copic markers, they're overrated. I don't see the hype, and the only thing is that Copic markers can be refilled. So because it's great for the environment, that's where I got them. But I think if I keep my current knockoff pens and use Copic filler for it instead and see if that works, I'll use dried up knockoff pens instead. I won't waste any more Copics, and at least that way I probably won't damage them by mistake, because here, these pens are going to go in the bin anyway because they're run out and there's nothing they can do. If I use a Copic filler on a cheap pen, what's the deal, you know? I'll just see if I can like improve it or not. I'm in the UK, so certain sketchbooks aren't great. I even made a PowerPoint talking about the price and make of said sketchbook to see if they're if they're good. And I've noticed that some multimedia sketchbooks say it's for all media, paint, gouache, marker, etc. But one multimedia book does great for watercolor, but bad for marker, and some are vice versa, and some are just terrible for both. It's worse when you have traditional artists recommend something and you buy it and use it and it's not great. So now you know your tastes and standards are different from others. So even if I do a UK sketchbook guide, people will probably disagree and think I'm wrong, because what's okay for me will not be okay for them. So I don't know if I'm going to bother, and whatever. The people I keep looking up to for tutorials on watercolor that actually help would be Emily Offel and Kellogg's Loops. I was constantly watching his videos just to understand how he did all of his stuff. Okay, so what are my issues? My flaws, so to say. I get into a lot of arguments online. I never used to argue as much in the past as I do now, so I'm assuming it's the internet's fault. I am not taking blame for that. People dragged in politics into arguments and nothing is simple anymore, and yeah, nah. So if posts come up that I was being a bitch, I don't care and take no responsibility, because my tone was a throwaway comment and always took it from 0 to 100 real quick. Worse off if it's the internet, so at times I generally don't know if I'm in the wrong or if people are actually being ridiculous and I should ignore them. So yeah, like, how can people take responsibility when they're kind of getting gaslighted on the internet? So yeah, one time I was talking about Wicca and someone blew up on me. I don't save those posts because it bums me down, because unlike other people on the internet, I can't think on any way I could have wrote it to not offend anyone. I don't know what I could have done other than keep my mouth shut. So I'm not allowed to talk on the internet without someone getting mad. I'm like, wasn't that great? And then the response is, how dare you? Why are you upset? You're the one upset, like Uno reverse. And I'm thinking, so many kids online probably got attacked and roasted since on Tumblr. We all kind of love to see a post getting roasted with just one paragraph, and we relished in it. Then went to Tumblr with a word limit, and then everything we see gets taken out of context. Nice. So I have anger issues. People think anger is just a fly off the handle explode, but it's not. It's tired, it's drained. It's when someone or something inconvenient happens and you go, okay, a guy cut me off, a woman pushed in, this child has been obnoxious, and someone didn't comprehend my post on the internet and is now blown up and called me a douche on the internet when I was talking about a shovel. True story, I posted a Tumblr post for this for people to respond because I was done. I had people getting upset because I was talking about a shovel. Why is the internet like this? Another thing that explains my anger, I am soft, I like comforts, I try to be nice, but at this point in time, in 2022, I feel more exhausted trying to appease some stranger on the internet who is going to be offended anyway. Now I'm thinking I need to go to spaces that don't have that, but even those spaces are getting tainted. And Kanto, for example, I'm not going to get too into it, but there's drama and toxicity, and I'm like, awesome, I'm gonna watch Tangled and paint like Rapunzel just to wind down. I hate bullies since I was bullied in school, so I never want to feel like that again, and it's something I would never wish on my worst enemy. People get bullied differently, so some things won't affect them as badly. For example, people like Mary Sawatomi or Black Hat, two people who are shitty, but at least you know they're shitty. Those people are refreshing to me. You know what they're about, you know they're horrible and what to expect, and you shouldn't be surprised when they act like a douchebag, because it's like, dude, they weren't pretending to be anyone else. They were jerks on the internet. Who cares? Now, friends, on the other hand, people who claim to be your friend and then let others hurt you, and when you fight back, they gaslight you. One quote-unquote friend told me to rip my nails off. I told her they were real, I didn't wear makeup, my hair was down, I barely put any effort into my looks, but I can maintain my fucking manicure, bitch please. And here's my nails. So those white bits in the nails, not the end. In the centre, that's damage. Why would I want them to look like that? In secondary, you know, when nail file crap wasn't that big of a deal, I was looking at blue and pink since I want my nails to look like Jinxes from Arcane. Also, if you follow me on Twitch, nails do grow uneven, with one longer than the other. So my dyslexia is real, my long nails are real, but I wish I had short nails. It is a pain to keep cutting them, and they hurt. And you know when you reach for something and it hits your nail and it vibrates, and it's like the equivalent of stubbing your toe. Also, I used to do this in school a lot. I used to rub my nails together to make them sound constantly like that, and it irritates so many people. So some people crack their knuckles. Mine was rubbing my nails together. I'm dyslexic, so you guys, I can't begin to keep talking about this, but it's a fact. First woman on earth who can't multitask. Woohoo! I thought dyslexia was only you can't read and write. I was diagnosed in college. That was just so I could have an additional 10 minutes in a maths class. No. I was diagnosed in college, that was just so I can have an additional 10 minutes on a maths exam, which did nothing, it just prolonged my torment since I hate maths. I don't get maths, it just sucks. So at moments I keep thinking I have some ADHD traits that apply to me and autism ones too, but I know I'm not those, I haven't been diagnosed. I was waiting for the pandemonium to end so I could call a doctor from the NHS and be like, yeah, you know, I'm getting really tired of eating out-of-date bread because I keep forgetting it existed. And TikTok mentioned that would take months to get diagnosed unless I choose an option. I can't remember, my sister saved it because we're both thinking of getting diagnosed. Also, the UK